It's 6 o'clock in the morning, 14 days since the national emergency was declared. You've weathered the first wave of chaos. Your perimeter is secure, your supplies are intact, and your family is fed. Suddenly, the heavy rumble of diesel engines echoes outside the window. You approach the glass, expecting to see a crowd of hungry rioters. But instead, armored vehicles pull up in front of your house, and camouflaged men emerge with digital tablets. They haven't come to rescue you or check if everything is all right. They've come to carry out the protocol for the seizure of critical resources, and your address is already in their database. The entire survival industry has been telling you for years about the threat of unprepared masses and looters. But the most dangerous, systemic, and legally protected enemy of your strategic reserves isn't your hungry neighbors.
These are institutions that claim to be sent to restore order. Those who promised you the inviolability of the law are counting on your obedience in a moment of total crisis. When the lights go out forever, the Constitution turns into ordinary paper. Today, you'll learn the 5 things the Secret Services will come to seize first, and how to outsmart the control system by making your swag completely invisible. The first thing inspection teams will reach for is your fuel supplies: gasoline, diesel, and propane. With a dead infrastructure, fuel is the lifeblood of a crisis. Without it, it's impossible to start generators, maintain communications, or move equipment. Government agencies will confiscate any privately owned fuel canisters under the pretext of emergency services needs. Most survivalists make a childish mistake. They line up the canisters in neat rows in a garage or outbuilding. When someone comes to inspect your property, these areas will be checked within the first 10 seconds. Your tactics are dispersal and camouflage. Never store fuel in one place. Part of the supply should be deeply buried in sealed plastic barrels on the far perimeter of the property. For ongoing use, use the dummy container technique. Old, dusty fuel tanks from broken garden equipment left in plain sight will arouse less suspicion than new military-issue jerrycans.
Make your fuel look like years of useless junk. The second goal is your food. Official orders will call this food redistribution to prevent starvation. In practice, this means that your year's supply of high-quality, freeze-dried, and canned goods will be taken to feed those who haven't thought about the future. A common prepper scheme is to dedicate a basement or a separate pantry to storage, lining it with neat shelving. This guarantees the loss of all your loot during the first search. If you have a basement, you must create a false wall there. Visually shrinking the room by half a meter using drywall decorated to look like old masonry will create a hiding place that's undetectable during a cursory inspection. If this isn't possible, use dual-purpose containers. Hide bags of food at the bottom of large barrels of dog food, construction mix, or fertilizer. No inspector will dig through a ton of dirty cement just to check what's at the very bottom. The third item on the list for seizure is autonomous communications equipment: satellite phones, high-powered radios, and GPS navigators. The authorities understand perfectly well. Control over information means control over the population. If citizens can coordinate actions outside official channels, they are ungovernable. Therefore, all civilian frequencies will be jammed and equipment will be confiscated. Keeping a radio on your desk or wearing it on your tactical vest during a patrol visit means voluntarily depriving yourself of eyes and ears. Your home should seem like an information cemetery. Leave an old broken radio or a cheap civilian radio with dead batteries in plain sight. Let the inspectors take it and mark it off their report. Your real, working equipment must be fully protected. Use microwave ovens or homemade boxes wrapped in several layers of thick aluminum foil for storage. This will create a Faraday cage that will protect electronics not only from scanner detection, but also from electromagnetic pulses. The fourth critical resource is antibiotics, painkillers, and surgical kits. During a major disaster, drug shortages occur faster than food shortages. Field hospitals will experience a huge shortage of medications, and your advanced tactical first aid kit will be a lucrative morsel.
Medicines are usually stored in brightly colored medical bags or plastic boxes with red crosses. These are the most visible targets for seizure. To preserve medications that could save your family's lives, completely change their visual appearance. Transfer pills from their original packaging to empty, clean jars of household chemicals, vitamins, or laundry detergent. Label them plumbing cleaner or orchid fertilizer. Scatter these containers among your regular household trash in the bathroom or pantry.
No one will bother reading the ingredients of a cheap cleaning product in a dirty bottle. The fifth thing many forget is survival tools. Solar panels, portable water filters, high-quality axes, saws, and welders. All these resources are needed to restore public infrastructure, and they will be confiscated for the needs of work crews. If your solar panels are attached to the roof of your house, you've already lost. You've officially announced to all agencies and surveillance drones that you have an independent energy source. Use only mobile, foldable panels that can be deployed on the ground for a couple of hours and quickly hidden. All valuable tools should be dispersed. Hide welders and expensive saws under piles of scrap metal, old tires, or in a woodshed deep under a layer of damp logs. The inspection staff is lazy. If they have to manually drag 2 tons of dirty tires to get to your generator, they'll simply pass by. When the state machine begins to fight for its own survival, it turns its citizens into a resource. Attempts to prove your rights or waive the Constitution in front of armed men and government mandates will end tragically for you. Your primary and most effective defense is to create the illusion of absolute poverty and complete submission. Your home should look as if there's absolutely nothing to take. Leave spoiled food scraps, empty gas cans, and broken appliances lying in plain sight. Meet inspection teams with a confused and frightened expression, playing into their expectations. The highest form of tactical camouflage in a systemic crisis is to be a gray, invisible shadow that doesn't participate in the general game. You must protect what is rightfully yours. But knowing how to hide supplies inside your home is only the first step. What will you do if your neighborhood is declared a strict quarantine zone and you have to urgently evacuate on foot, leaving everything behind? In the next video, I'll expose the fatal flaws of classic evacuation backpacks and show a secret protocol for stealthy movement through militarized urban areas used by deep reconnaissance specialists. It's not those who proclaim their rights the loudest who survive. It's those who remain invisible who survive. See you in the next episode.